What's up, guys? Chris Marler here from Saturday Down South and the Saturday Football Uncensored podcast, back with another edition of our Monday Meltdown about the latest Alabama game, this time a 24-10 victory over the Ole Miss Rebs. I think a lot of Bama fans were breathing a huge sigh of relief when the clock hit zeros on Saturday, and with a lot of good reason, because the vibes were not great going into this game. But leaving the stadium, you have to feel confident. Here are the 5 things I love most about that win against Ole Miss. 1, Jalen Milroe's resilience. Jalen Milroe coming back. There's a terrible, inexcusable interception in the first half. Now let's talk about what he did afterwards. After that interception, Jalen Milroe, 9 of 11 passing for 82% completion percentage, 159 passing yards, which is 14.5 yards per attempt. Out of his 9 completions, 6 of them were for first downs, 4 of them were for more than 20 yards. So he had 4 explosive plays out of the 9, almost half of them. Jalen Milroe was fantastic. 2, the defense stepping up, and especially with big plays and explosive plays. The defense was lights out all day long, and it was awesome to watch, especially against the Lane Kiffin offense, which after you lost to Texas, the team that was closest to Ole Miss out of anyone left on that schedule from a play calling standpoint, from an offensive identity standpoint, was Ole Miss. And Alabama comes in, allows only 4 explosive plays the entire day. To put that in perspective, Ole Miss not only came in averaging over 50 points a game, over 520 yards per game, they also came in averaging at least 10 explosive plays per game in their first 3. Bama holds them to 4, which is an outstanding job all day long. Number 3, halftime adjustments. This is something that has plagued Alabama in their losses over the last 2-3 years that have become a pretty big source of the whole dialogue for Nick Saban and the dynasty kind of going downhill. Elite teams and elite coaches make halftime adjustments. It's what Kirby Smart does such a great job of at Athens, and it's what Nick Saban and this entire dynasty were built on for a long, long time. They've struggled with it as of recent, but look at what happened in the first half, and a pretty frustrating first half for Alabama fans and for that team. The offensive line, which has been a very big source of frustration, has 4 sacks allowed in the first half. They gave up 9 tackles for loss. Coming into this game, they had back-to-back games with over 5 sacks allowed, and that was the first time it happened in almost 15 years under Nick Saban. They gave up 4 in the first half. You fast forward to the second half, 0 tackles for loss, 0 sacks allowed. The yards per play in the first half was 2.9 yards per play. The second half, it jumps up to over 8 yards per play. It was tremendous all the way around. All right, number 4, the newcomers that stepped up and the players that you had to count on most that were there for you when you needed them most on Saturday. First off, the newcomers. Jalen Hale at receiver was a revelation. He was fantastic, led the team in receiving yards, had 2 receptions. One was a huge touchdown in the third quarter. Then you talk about a guy like Jihad Campbell, who comes in for Deontay Lawson, who had to leave the game because of injury. What did he do? He was second on the team in tackles, had 7 tackles, all solo, played tremendously in the second half of that game. It was awesome to see. Then you talk about the guys you needed most. Terrion Arnold has been playing phenomenally all season. 2 pass breakups, had the interception. Malachi Moore was all over the field. Dallas Turner has 2 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss. He's now had more sacks this season in just 4 games than he had all of last year combined. Love to see that. And it extends even into the kicking game. You see a guy like Will Reichard, who hits another field goal, or hits 2 more field goals, including one from 40-plus. You look at Will Reichard, he's made his last 20 field goals dating back to last season, including 8 of 8 from 40 and 50 yards plus. Phenomenal job from the guys you need most, and some new guys that stepped up as well. And last but not least, number 5, how about Alabama putting their foot on someone's throat and not letting up till the game was over? You gave up a couple of tough plays late in the game on 4th and 23, couple of 3rd and 4th down conversions that you didn't like to see. But when it mattered most, 4th and 16 with around 2 minutes to go, an exotic blitz where you bring both safeties in right up the gut, play man coverage, and you had the quarterback running for his life once again. It was awesome to see, and it was an awesome, awesome victory. Alabama now 3-1 on the season. Moving on. Make sure you tune in next week. Make sure you tune in every single week, twice a week, to the Saturday Football Uncensored podcast as well. We'll be talking all things, not just Alabama, but all things SEC and college football as well.